Well, happy Monday, April 20th, sixth graders. This is your social studies information for the week, and I'll also go through section 2 with you before you go ahead and do the work. So first of all, our work is going to be section 2 today, section 3 tomorrow, and on Wednesday you'll have an open book test on chapter 13. Thursday, we break away from social studies and go to our music appreciation class. Friday, of course, will be a makeup day. So let me talk a little bit about section 2 and what you'll be seeing in there. It almost sounds like a religion lesson because it's about Christianity and Rome. The section is about Jesus. It's about his birth, his death, or his crucifixion, and his resurrection. I mean, when you think about Jesus, those are the three main events in his life: his birth, his death, and his resurrection. Of course, we all know that the resurrection is the reason that we all are forgiven. It's not the birth, it's not the death, but the resurrection. Also in this section, we have information about Jesus' work, and his ministry started in when he was 30 years old, and he died around the age of 33. His first miracle, which is one of his works, was, and some of you will be answering this right away because I know you know it, some of his first miracle was the feast at Cana, the wedding feast at Cana, where he turned water into wine. Lots of others. If you can take a minute right now, I'm going to just not stop talking for about 15 seconds. Just think in your mind of what other miracles you know of that Jesus committed during his time on earth. How many did you find? Probably 3, 4. Maybe if I gave you more time, you'd find more. But they're just right there to give us lessons. And speaking of lessons, Jesus used, as you know, parables to teach his story, to teach what he wanted us to learn about his new way of living. Jesus was a Jew, so he was teaching Jews and any others that came along to listen to what he had to say. Jesus' message, and I want you to focus on this, Jesus' message, it had two main elements. And if you go to page 387, you'll find out what those two are, and that's where you'll find the answer to today's question at the end that you'll find in Google Classroom. Jesus' followers. He had a bunch of followers, and they were all called something different. There were 12 very close friends that went with him everywhere, and those guys were called apostles. And then there were others that paved the way for him and followed when they could. Those were disciples. Anyone that followed Jesus, whether in spirit or personally, they were disciples. You have St. Paul, that comes on the scene after Jesus has died. In fact, his name was Saul before he was called Paul. And Saul persecuted Jesus' followers. He was a Jew, and he thought that this sect that Jesus was establishing was harmful to the Jewish faith and the Jewish people. It wasn't until on his road to Damascus that he was met by Jesus in a blinding light that threw him off his horse. He was told by Jesus that he needed to stop persecuting his people, and by the time he got to Damascus, he had understood why, and he turned from his ways of persecution and decided to learn more about the Christian faith. And it took him some time. St. Peter helped him along the way, but he finally became one of our primary saints that established the church. And of course, later on, we had the four gospel writers, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And they wrote down the life of Jesus in those four gospels and put them in the book we call the Bible. So that's pretty much our preview for section 2. On Thursday, I want to talk a little bit about that. On Thursday, I have some music on Google Classroom for you, and I would like for you to go ahead and listen to that, and then there's an assignment that goes along with that. It's an ungraded assignment, but I'd still like to know what you thought about the music that I played for you. And that's about it for now. I can't promise I'll be here every day, but I'm going to try and do this as often as I can. So if you have any questions or you have any suggestions, please let me know. You know where I live. I live on the internet. Thanks a lot. Have a great day tomorrow.